Witness Notes 3. Villanova de Mil Fontes, Alentejo, Portugal. February 2020. After you have read these introductory paragraphs once, you can skip to the new, old content here. If you are listening, then the timestamp is around the 2-minute 45-second mark. Introduction. The word settled to me carries connotations I am keen to avoid. I have never felt settled, or perhaps I cannot recall a time I felt settled. I do not feel settled now, writing this, and I've lived in the same house for 3.5 years. Without even discussing the obvious issues of colonisation, I just don't feel like I could or should settle. Better to keep my constituent parts shook up, agitated perhaps, rather than separated and stagnant. Instead, I feel as though I have been travelling for years, maybe because I have not lived in my home nation of Scotland for 8.5 years. Perhaps because I know I won't stay here forever, or maybe because I carry that concept of home in a way which differs from many. More precisely, I still think of myself as a slow traveller, globally feral. Recently, I've been revisiting places through the photographs and words I recorded when my feet crossed their soil. This is a way of reminding myself of where I have been, not just in space and time, but in mind too. It is a wonderful thing to come out of a low and rediscover myself through words I crafted, through the lens of a camera, when memory has wandered in the fog for too long. Thank you, past me. When I first started sharing letters with the world in this fashion 6 or more years ago, I usually began them with a vignette of where I was, a sort of travel diary mixed with nature observation, locking in the setting for the reader before I spoke of other things, and by so doing ensuring that place fed into the whole. It was a useful device for a reader and myself both, but as these letters were sent to so few readers, and now languish archived behind a paywall, I thought it a shame not to share these snippets again. As such, I am going to share a short series of these sketches accompanied by a photograph from that time, sent to you in date order, beginning with the second eldest. I shall include the above paragraphs in each of the letters in this series, but I shall also include a link at the very start so you can skip ahead once you are familiar with the above words. If you are listening and similarly want to skip, then the timestamp you want to navigate to will be in the same place. Taken without these paragraphs, each is a short read, and I hope you enjoy them. Villanova de Mil Fontes, Alentejo, Portugal, February 2020. In the last 10 days, I have been joined by old friends. The salt tang of the ocean carried on powerful iodine-strong winds. The sun, a force capable of burning quickly. The roar of waves, an ancient lullaby. The nights are cool, the days warm, the land surprisingly green and already covered in flowers, flashes and banks of yellow, pebble dash of pinks and reds. Here, farmers are already harvesting and baling grass. There a shepherd tends sheep or goats. Citrus splashes cover verdant small trees, oranges and clementines dotted everywhere, often fallen and rolled, ditches and dips full of gathered sweet balls, unclaimed, rotting. Lemons are equally common, sometimes almost too large to be believed, their yellow so obvious it is a colour of its very own. Bamboo tracks the waterways. Here and there giant stacks have been collected, bundles of canes to be used later in spring. The cork oak trunks are a spectrum, darkest where they have most recently been peeled, lighter where time has passed and a new cover awaits silently to seal the wine or port of many miles of vineyards. I am learning this language, the language of a landscape that feels ancient and lived in. How fields are maintained, how there is space for nature above the terraces, in between settlements or on the long coastal edge. Portugal feels full of stories, old stories and new, whispers of tales to come. It is into this land that we venture, seeking a home, filling in the gaps in our knowledge. The land whispers back, telling us what we need to hear, and we listen. Finally, if you can afford to, there are currently 2 direct ways to support my work here. The first is to take out a paid subscription, and as it is the midwinter or midsummer season, and to celebrate 6 years of sharing this letter, I'm offering 20% off both monthly and annual subscription plans. If you subscribe at that price, it will lock in for the rest of your subscription for as long as you remain a subscriber. I shall be raising my subscription fees slightly in the new year, so taking advantage of this might make sense. The offer ends mid-January 2026. The second way to support me here is to use my Ko-fi button link to send a tip of any amount. If you enjoyed this letter and wish to share it with others, please do so. I love it when someone shares my work. I also love it when you comment on a piece. Really, really love it. During 2025, I have not been as good at responding to comments as quickly as I would like, but seeing as my word of the year for 2026 is almost certainly going to be communication, I like to think that will soon change. Finally, many thanks for reading. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who does.